distinct criteria na matatawag ka ng senior is kapag nag-handle ka na ng tao. So, nagme-mentor ka na ng mga junior dev or mid dev, and then at the same time, you can also be a team lead kasi pag nag-grow up ka sa ladder, there's two paths when you're already a senior. Either you become in a leadership position or a management position, or you become a principal engineer.
Alright, welcome back to another episode of Kaka Computer. And in this episode, pag-usapan natin yung differences between a junior, middle, senior developer, and beyond. No? Alright, so I'm gonna ask the first question. Ano yung main difference between a junior developer and a middle developer?
Okay, I can start. So, big difference is they know how to break problems into smaller parts. And then another thing is prioritization. So, pag mid ka na kasi, you have that critical experience to actually build this feature if they're well tested, if they're actually going to have some breaking points. So may certain type of consciousness na sila. Pag ina-approach nila yung problem, it's gonna be step by step. And then they know how to prioritize. Like, if bigyan ka ng 3 task sa Jira board or in any other Trello or whatever, alam mo kung ano yung uunahin mo. And alam mo paano mag-estimate din. Like, for me, this feature could take, let's say, 4 hours. Excluding yung testing, yung unit test, things like that.
Right.
Nice.
Makes sense. Oo.
Ganda.
And as a mid developer, you get to see the bigger picture.
Yep.
Hindi lang yung accomplishing the task, but since you have this previous experience now, you get to break it down into smaller tasks. And a common question I get from my followers is how long does it take for a junior dev to
Good
become
question.
medium
Good question.
medium
Magandang
middle
question yan.
or middle dev?
Yeah.
Ganun.
I think I'll answer that. I think based from my experience as employer, so I see a lot of junior developer moving to middle developer. I think 2 to 3 years should be the average standard to
Yun yung standard.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen that yun na talaga yung nasa industry. How about you guys?
Yeah, usually 2 to 3 years, ganon. So since yung duration ng 2 to 3 years na yun, assuming you're very active doon sa company or doon sa community na sinasalihan mo, you got all the experiences to have middle developers, perspective. So usually ganun yung range talaga.
For me naman, it's not about the year. It's more of like how well versed you are with the design patterns. If magde-design pattern ka na, mid ka na. And then at the same time, if you're able to play around with lots of technologies. For example, sa Node, nakatry ka na ng Express, nakatry ka na ng Koa, things like that. You're very well comfortable with different types of libraries and integrations. Let's say sa authentication, nakapag-OAuth ka na, things like this. So, you're already considered mid because you're not new to these things. And you can easily know anong type of technology yung i-apply mo na certain feature. So, yeah.
Nice.
So the average is 2 to 3 years, but it's not about the duration kung kung
skills talaga.
Hanggang kailan siya sa company or and especially di rin yan about the age. Diba? Maraming mga bata na senior dev na, and then maraming medyo junior pa. Now, that begs the question, what if parang 4 years ka na sa company pero junior ka pa rin? What should you do in that case?
May kasi I'm also part of the hiring process, like nag-technical interview din ako, then I have this resumes na 10 years sila pero sabi nila data migration, pero at the end of the day nagde-data entry lang sila, which is very misleading dun sa dinideclare nila. So in terms of that, if you feel like 4 years ka na din, feel mo pa junior, you should ask for more challenging tasks, because that's the only way you will step up. If you solve harder problems, then you'll be able to get that experience to actually use different types of technologies to build different types of architectures that would elevate your skills.
Tama si Cleo. I totally agree to that. No?
I think masyadong matagal yung ang 4 years to be stuck at junior level, di ba? I think dalawa lang yan eh. First is either you're not really doing good at your job, you're not meeting the qualifications you need to take the next level, or you're not in the right place, di ba?
Or you're not given opportunities.
Yeah, you're not given opportunity. Baka pala parang baka paulit-ulit lang di repetitive task lang yung binibigay sa'yo na would not really help you grow in your career. So, I think
usually kasi yung mga na-stuck na developers, nasa sa kanila rin yun eh. Parang there's no initiative na gusto nilang mag-grow into like having a new challenges. Parang as long as sumisweldo sila sa company or sumisweldo sila sa client work, okay na yon. But then meron kasing mga developer na eager to learn talaga, na gusto mag-level up, yung parang gusto nilang ma-appreciate yung value na binibigay nila sa company, which is I think yung bakit ka nai-stuck, tanongin mo yung sarili mo. Am I doing challenging projects ba? Or tama ba yung path? Meron bang nag-guide sa akin? Dapat kasi self accountability din yung yung secret doon sa doon sa pagja-jump from junior to middle developer. So, yeah.
And most of my followers ask me na, Sir Vel, kailan ba yung right time na lilipat na ako ng company? And I always tell them na, if sa existing or sa current company mo ngayon, wala ka nang nalalearn, di ka na nag-grow, then that's the right time. It's not about the money or kung ano man yan. Kung hindi na, wala ka ng opportunity to grow, paulit-ulit na lang yung mga ginagawa mo, then siguro that's the right time to move, no? And this one, something specific. If you are working with a company na may proprietary technology sila or platform, hindi talaga siya transferable eh. Diba? So, kunwari, you're working on an XYZ platform. Tapos, let's say, 5 years experience ka na doon. Hindi siya, it doesn't translate well pag lilipat ka ng ibang company. So,
unless meron ding same architecture
unless they're still using that same platform.
Diba? But most of the time, hindi. So, parang hirap ka. So, either mag-stay ka ba doon for long or it's up to the developer pa rin. Yeah,
kaya nire-recommend ko sa kanila na better you work on yung mga popular technologies or programming languages. Hindi ka nalalock in to a specific vendor or ano man yan kasi mahirap talaga mag-grow doon eh.
Yes.
Pero I think meron naman siya. Meron din naman nag-grow. I know some companies na invest sa mga proprietary technologies eh. For example, of course, mga Salesforce, MuleSoft.
Ayaw sana banggitin.
Pero yun, I think there's demand for it, but yun nga, medyo malilimit lang din yung companies na pwede mong pagtrabahuan. You have to make sure na ipililipat ka man, at least they're also using MuleSoft.
Kasi napaka-niche
para ma-transfer mo talaga yung lahat ng natutunan mo to your previous company.
Or there's one thing you could do. You cannot stick to your 9-to-5 job. Look for another job on the side. I mean, it pays the bills, yes, but then you can still develop in some other ways. It's just about finding, the right opportunities. Like, naggagamit kami ng Salesforce. Then what about I want to learn React Native? Okay, so you would look for job postings na naghahanap ng ganun. So always have this this initiative for you to grow. Kasi yung skill set mo, you should always have parang spare. Kung masiraan ka ng sa daan,
Totoo
at least may
yan.
spare ka. So if this technology would be deprecated in the next 2 to 3 years, at least may other skills kang pwedeng ma-hire.
You hit the nail on the head.
And of course, isa na rin dyan is for example, you wanna learn about AWS. So we would like to thank our sponsor for this episode, Tutorials Dojo.
Yep. Thanks to Tutorials Dojo for sponsoring our podcast for today. Visit tutorialsdojo.com to access a collection of free and premium video courses, practice exams, ebooks, hands-on labs, and other exam prep resources for upcoming AWS, Azure, GCP, Kubernetes exam. Sign up now at tutorialsdojo.com to take your career and earning potential greater heights.
Okay.
Ayun. So speaking of upskilling, those are some opportunities that you can take. Now, pag-usapan naman natin yung difference ng senior versus a mid developer. Ano yung main differences ng dalawa?
I think sa akin pag mid developer ka, well, if you're junior to mid to senior, normally if you're mapapansin mo na you're asking less questions. Like yan, minsan mas alam mo na yung gagawin mo, you require less supervision. And pag mid ka, yung napapansin ko is yun, nagtatanong ka pa rin sometimes ng question. Sometimes you still make mistake na kailangan i-correct ng senior developer mo. And if you're a senior developer, sobrang minimal na lang dapat yung mistake mo na nagagawa, and minimal na lang din yung supervision. So normally you can work on a single feature on your own, while if mid developer ka pa lang, you still require some guidance, you still ask questions. I think yun yung isang observation ko. How about you guys?
Isang distinct criteria na matatawag ka ng senior is kapag nag-handle ka na ng tao. So, nagme-mentor ka na ng mga junior dev or mid dev, and then at the same time, you can also be a team lead kasi pag nag-grow up ka sa ladder, there's two paths when you're already a senior. Either you become in a leadership position or a management position, or you become a principal engineer. So yung principal engineer, they're really the specialist, and kahit anong ibato mo sa kanilang problem, whether that be like an issue in, let's say, servers, whether that be on the front end, on the back end, alam nilang i-diagnose yun. And that also signifies your seniority. Kasi sa dami ng problems na na-encounter mo through your years of experience sa industry, alam mo na kung ano yung pwedeng potential fix for that.
Yes.
And if your team lead also, nagko-coach ka na, let's say, ang code mo, kailangan mong, like coding conventions, let's say better variable names, or like
Right.
apply some state management in like Redux or whatever. So, yeah, you're handling people and teaching them to be better.
Yeah.
Tsaka sa superiority, senior developers kasi usually they are the ones taking the risk. So pag senior ka, usually you are client facing, tapos if meron kang tao, tinitake responsible mo pag hindi kaya nung developer mo sa baba yung task. So ikaw yung gumagawa nun.
Yep.
And at the same time, yung perspective mo is malawak na, you can convert business models into technologies. Kasi usually yun yung role sa mga senior eh. Kaya sila yung kasama sa mga meeting kasi yung mga stakeholder ng project, yun yung kausap. And then, from there, if fully understand ng senior yung project, that's the time na i-designate niya yung mga task doon sa mga developers niya.
And if I may add also, regarding din sa mga timelines. So, parang one look lang nila sa business requirements. Mako-convert nila sa technical. Alam ko na 4 months to matitake.
May proper estimation.
Alam na niya mag-estimate. And then usually, yan yung ginagawa ng mga senior. Sila yung nag-identify ng timeline and effort. Ilang tao yung kailangan ko to deliver this app. Anong mga types of resources ang kailangan ko? Anong types of skills? Anong technologies ang i-apply ko? So these types of things.
Yes, totally agree.
Ako personally, tumitingin ako sa mga job description on how they define their senior roles. Kasi iba yung definition from company to company eh.
Yes.
And ako personally, hindi ako dumaan ng mid eh. From junior to senior agad. And hindi siya, kasi some companies walang mid, some companies puro senior lang talaga
Actually,
yung hinahire. Ganun.
May label ba talaga yung mid or
Actually,
intermediate
wala.
developers? Wala, di ba?
Wala.
So parang either junior ka or senior ka. Kasi based on how you can handle a project or a task, di ba?
Junior Java developer, senior Java developer.
Yes,
Ganun
diba?
yung labeling.
And that's what I wanted to talk about the job titles, no? Na may possibly pwede kang senior from your previous company tapos lilipat ka, pwede kang maging mid din.
Yes. Kasi
And it
depende sa
happens.
standards
Depende
ng
sa
company.
standards nila. Pero sa totoo lang, ako, it doesn't really matter to me as long as mataas magpasahod yung isang.
Yes, that's true.
Bahala ng junior ako.
It's about the title. Yung title kasi, pangalan lang yun eh. Pero yung, it's a matter of responsibility and yung salary.
Depende din yan
compensation.
sa lilipatan mo. For example, gusto ko mag-data science. So, babalik ka sa start niyan kasi you're from an app developer background, tas mag-data science ka, mag-data engineer ka. So, syempre, babalik yung status mo sa pinaka-baba.
And I think pag ganun, babalik rin yung mo, di ba? May chance rin bumalik yung salary mo. Kasi you're
you're
different.
parang
completely
shifter ka na eh.
responsibility. Parang career shifter na.
Hindi na nagtra-translate yung skills mo from app development
Ibang domain
to,
knowledge naman siya.
Yes.
to big data man yan or kung ano.
Kaya ang maganda dyan, always be a student.
Yep.
Di ba? Parang itatapon mo kung ano yung alam mo previously and then pagpasok mo ng bagong company, fresh ka. Kasi mag-a-adapt ka doon sa bagong environment.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do.